What's up, y'all? It's your girl Shay Renee, and I am back to talk about Sistas episode 9. It was some crazy foolishness going on in this episode. Let's just go ahead and get into it, shall we? All right, y'all. So let's get some housework done. Healisticthings.com. They are healing beyond the prescription pad. Please get over there and purchase some sea moss gel, juices, and healing herbs for the body because it's going to get them diseases out and don't bring them back. All right. Use code Shay Renee to get 20% off of your first order. And the website is flowing along the screen here if you forget. All right. Getting down to business. Sistas, episode 9. Okay. Zach is getting arrested. First of all, this lady comes in here with this. I don't know what this hair is doing and this outfit that she has on that is ill-fitting. Telling him that she don't got to tell him why she arrested him. It's called Miranda rights, ma'am. You gotta tell a motherfucker why you arresting them. You ain't read no rights. You ain't did nothing. Like, what is going on here? She's like, yeah. And do you have a gun? Yeah, let me check you. Like, it's like she was like provoking him. And Jake is like over there, like Jake from State Farm. He don't know what to do. I'm like, okay. This how we going? This how we gonna do this? This how we gonna start this off? So they haul him off to jail, and Zach is like, call Fatima, call Fatima. I'm like, God damn, that's the real Olivia Pope over there. Okay. So in the next scene, Fatima gets Andy coffee and they sit down to talk. And she says basically Andy admits that she loves the penthouse. She's like, oh my God, I really, really love it. And she's talking about how much she loves the car and all this, that, and the third. But then she's like, I just can't, I don't know if I can keep it because he's always going to act like this is his place. Like he always going to be over there. He always going to be basically acting like it's his. And it's going to be very well known. I bought you this. Like, look at all that I did for you or whatever. That's basically what it's going to be. So Fatima says, you know what? I got something for you. So she comes in there with this big old roll of rubber bands. And she's like, every time he do some shit that piss you off, or every time you second guessing yourself about him, take a rubber band off. Once you get to no more rubber bands, leave that dude. Because you doing too much. And so she's like, well, you have one for Zach? She's like, oh, I don't need one for my man. Because my man treats me good. And we don't got to go through all of this stuff. So I don't got no ball for Zach. Okay, so don't you worry about me and Zach. Zach is a great guy to me. Okay, so she's like, wow, that's a new Zach. I'm like, yeah, he ain't a fuckboy with Fatima like he was with your girl. And that's the word on the street. Okay, so moving right along, they keep talking about, the whole situation, and Fatima says, yeah, we're going to get this paternity test because if he is the dad, we got to figure this out. And Andy is like, well, Karen is pretty convinced that Zach is the dad. And she said, yeah, no, your girl slept with him and Aaron around the same time. She's like, how you know that? She was like, oh, I know. And so she's like, wow, okay, well, I didn't know that. She's like, yeah, so we're going to get this good old paternity test because at the end of the day, like, I really wanted to be the one to have Zach's kid. So it's kind of hurtful if it is her kid, it ends up being his kid, but we're going to deal with it regardless, whatever the turnout is. So in the next scene, Maurice and Sabrina walk into the bank and he asks her not to call the police on Q. And so Maurice tells her he gave, Q ended up giving up these. She's like, how the hell is this fool out of jail anyway? He says, well, he gave up the other people so that he could get out. And she's like, Maurice, like, you cannot be messing with this dude. Like, seriously, he came in here and put a gun to our heads. Like, are you crazy? Why are you messing with him? And you could look like an accomplice to this guy. Like, he's like, I know that, or whatever. So she says that I don't want to hear anything he has to say. I don't want to hear anything about him. You need to leave him alone. So she's like asking him questions. And Maurice is like, I don't want to talk about it. We got customers. So he walks over like he helping a customer. I'm like, y'all just walked into the bank. Ain't nobody go back and get no money till or nothing. Y'all ain't count no money. Y'all ain't did nothing. Y'all just opened the front door and walked the fuck in. So how the hell you servicing a customer already? I won't wait. So anyway, now we're at in the next scene, we're at the airport. I can't remember airport guy's name because he's airport guy, trafficker dude, airport guy, whatever. So he walks up to Danny and was like, you stood me up. And she's like, yeah, but yet you're still over here in my face. She's like, well, by me standing you up, does that mean you don't want to talk to me anymore? He said, perhaps, but only until you tell me who hurt you. What did they do to you? All right, sir. Just leave her alone. It's not going to work out. Like, it's not a match made in heaven. It's just not. She's just not that into you. Okay? Let it burn. Let it burn. Okay? So he's like, I think if you really got to know me, you're going to like me. Okay. I don't like you already just because you said that. You're corny and I don't like it. So that means I don't like you. There we go. Moving on. So he hears some type of announcement and then he ends up running off. I guess that was his cue to go catch another trafficker. So Andy calls her and calls Danny. And she's like, so when do you get off work? She's like, well, I'm getting ready to get off now. Why? In a few minutes. She's like, well, you want to meet up for drinks and for dinner? She's like, sure, I'll call, Karen and Sabrina now. She's like, no. I just want it to be us. She's like, well, bitch, what? Do I owe you money? I ain't got it. If that's the case, I ain't got it. She's like, no. She's like, girl, you giving me your apartment? She was like, hell no. She's like, okay, well, what the fuck are we meeting together for? But she's like, no, I just want to have, just one-on-one conversation with you. And she's like, you paying for it? She's like, I guess. And she's like, okay, well, I'll be there, girl. See you later. I'm like, oh my gosh, this damn Danny child. So in the next scene, the restaurant guy, Bayou, comes in and he says, I went to every single bank until I could figure out which one you worked at. And here I am. And she's like, okay, here you are. What do you want? And he's like, well, I need to make a withdrawal, but I wanted to come here because I wanted to apologize to you properly. And I wanted to ask you out on a date. She's like, I don't know about this date stuff. Like, He's like, well, I need to make a withdrawal. So he writes a check for $200,000 to withdraw it out of his account. So she opens up, looks at his account, and sees he got $36 million in the daggone account. I'm like, child, if a capping ass nigga was real. So why you had to do that? You couldn't get her off of your charms. You gonna come in here and you gonna have her open up your account, and all of a sudden she sees that you got money, so now her legs gonna miraculously open up. That listen, that I got money shit don't work with every woman. Okay, it just don't. It's dead and it needs to just go ahead and go away. So she's like, I don't give a damn that he got money. Like, that doesn't impress me. So he ends up saying, I'm going to keep trying. He's like, have you ever been to the motherland? You're so beautiful. Just like one of the women from the motherland. She's like, well, I am African American. And he's like, have you ever been to Africa? Let's go. Let's go for 3 days. First of all, you lying. You fucking lying because you ain't going to Africa for 3 days, sir. You're not even going to flight out of Africa in less than a week. You need to go to Africa for a week, 2 weeks. Not no damn 3 damn days. Have you lost your mind? As long as that flight is going to take you 3 days to get there. I'm like, okay, Bayou. Eve's Bayou. Get on. So he leaves out and basically letting her know he going to be persistent. So Maurice comes over. He's like, is that the guy from the restaurant? And she's like, yeah. He was like, let me see his account. So he looks at his account. He's like, bitch, you need to stop messing with Calvin, broke ass. You better go on a date with him. She's like, I don't care about money. That stuff doesn't mean anything to me. He's like, well, judging by your clothes, you need to care. Matter of fact, you want me to go get him? You need to find him right the fuck now. Like, you need to be with him because you dressing like that is very broke. You with him, maybe you'll look better. I was like, wow. Maurice really went in. He's like, you know what? Maybe I should go get him because I've done stranger things for change. Okay. So I'll go get him. And she's like, no. So she's like, Maurice, but seriously, with this Q stuff, I was going to have to fire you. Like, they were thinking that you were an accomplice to all of this. So I had to, really be like a serious character witness for you and say, no, Maurice would never do that. I basically had your back. Don't play with me and have me lose my goddamn job. I'm sticking my neck out for you. And he's like, oh my God, I didn't know that. I'm like, I thought she told you this before. But how would you? Mm. But anyway, Maurice, you got to know that that's stupid. It's cameras all around the bank. You standing out there talking to him. Mind you, you're talking to him at the front fucking door. Nit Whitley, what is going on here? So she's constantly telling him he need to leave Q alone. And he's constantly trying to convince her that he ain't messing with Q. But I'm constantly convinced that he is. So anyway, moving on. Fatima goes into Andy's office and lets her know. She's like, do you need anything else? I'm getting ready to roll out. Andy's like, no, I'm good. And she's like, Fatima says, but before I leave, I did notice that you ain't asked me to get your stuff back in your old apartment. You didn't tell me to call my boy to sell your car. What's the goings on here? What's really going on? And Andy was like, I'm just so torn. Like, I really love the penthouse and I really love the car and all the shit that he bought me. And she's like, girl, okay. She's like, so you keeping it? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, she keeping it. So in the next scene, Aaron goes to Karen's shop and she just seems so snappy and irritated by his presence overall. So he's like, did you get the calendar that I sent you? Not trying to be overbearing and pushy, but she's like, yes, I got it. I got the calendar. Like, it's okay. He's like, well, when are you going to the doctor? She's like, well, I'm trying to set an appointment now. He's like, and she told him what hospital. He was like, oh, I know the director over there. You want me to get you an appointment right away? She's like, no, I'll get an appointment on my own merit or whatever. She's like, just like, really, just get out of here already. Leave me alone. It's Zach's baby. I don't want it to be your baby. Stop talking to me. So basically that's what she said. And she's like, I'm just so I don't know. You don't deserve that. I'm just being so snappy. My hormones all over the place. I'm so sorry. And he's like, I get it. I get it. So they end up going back and forth, and then he goes crying in the car, literally, because she goes over to talk to Pam, the nosy girl, after he walk out. And she's like, did that lady that kept coming in here looking for Zach come back yet? And Pam is like, nah, she ain't been back, but her business card over here. Let me, pull my strings and figure out who the hell she is. And Karen's like, people? Okay, whatever. I ain't asking no questions. Go ahead and do what you got to do. And Pam looks out. She's like, is he crying in the car? So Karen's like, oh God, let me go check on him. So she goes out there and they're talking and whatnot. And she's just like, I'm just so sorry. I just haven't been myself lately. I'm so irritable. And he tells her it's okay. He's like, I just love you. I just want to be with you. Like, I've never felt like this for about anybody before. And it's, this whole process is just really killing me. And he says sometimes he wishes that Karen would just tell him to scram and get lost so that he can move on. She's not going to do that. She loves the going back and forth, because even at the end of this conversation, as he's telling her, please tell me to leave you alone, the same dumb shit that she told was going over with Zach, which Zach told her he don't want her ass. But she was like, but it's the way he said it. It don't really ring right in my spirit. So that means he don't really mean it. No, Aaron really wants you to tell him to scram if you don't want him or not. But you like this tug of war with your heart that Aaron, at Aaron's heartstrings. You love it. It's just really, Karen is just really freaking buckling my nerves like this whole season. So she's like, well, we can just be friends. He's like, yeah, okay. Me being your friend. Yeah, that's going to work. And she says she knows she wants this to, she knows that Aaron really wants this to be his baby, but she's like, it's not your baby. Like, I'm telling you, I know it's not your baby. Bitch, no, you don't. You don't even know when you're going to get a doctor's appointment. So how you know this your baby? You don't know shit. Go to the doctor. So then she says, okay, well, what exactly? And he's like, he disagrees. And he asks, what is it that you want me to do? Like, she's like, I don't know, I just need some space. Like, I need to figure it out. And he's like, well, what exactly do you need to figure out? And that's a good ass question. What do you need to figure out, Karen? You got a good dude in front of you. You're not gonna get Zach back because he don't want you. So what exactly do you need to figure out? When the baby is coming? That's about the only thing you need to figure out. And who the daddy? Like, what else do you need to really figure out, sis? You tripping. So then she's like, then they talk about, oh, maybe I shouldn't call. She's like, yeah, let me call you. I'll call you. I'll call you. And then he's like, okay, well, I won't call you anymore. And she's like, well, you can call me. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. The tug of war. It's on and it's crazy. So moving right along, Andy calls Gary. Andy ends up calling Gary and asks him, where her things are. And I'm like, Andy, you just want to talk to Gary. Like, you trying to see where his head is at with all this stuff. So you know good and damn well he ain't send your stuff back to your apartment because you ain't seen nobody's mover when you was going to work. And ain't nothing in that old apartment of yours. So anyway, she's like, can you get my things back in my apartment and my clothes? And he's like, well, your clothes are in the penthouse, so that's gonna be difficult. I'll have the movers there today. And all of this, that, and the third. And he's like, Andy, can I just come over and show you around the apartment? Nigga, I was in the apartment all night. I know what the fuck it look like in here. You don't need to come show me around the penthouse. I seen your little video, your little strange attempt at getting your ass up in here. No, I don't need you to show me around a place that I slept in last night. I'm good. I did the tour. It's cool. I love it. Thanks. So then he's like, let's just meet for dinner. Can I come over? Let's talk. Let's talk, Andy. No, 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 and no. I just This whole Gary character is just mindless. I need for Andy to just move on, like, from Gary, because this whole Gary situation is just very annoying. Hey Shay, I'm so late. I missed tonight's show. Thanks for the review. I can get caught up on your review is better than watching the show. Thank you so much, Rasta27. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it was an okay episode. It really was. So moving right along, Andy is, she's on the phone with Gary, and he says he doesn't want to do this over the phone. He just really is trying to convince her to go ahead and meet up with him. And he says, I just want to talk to you. I want to tell you how I feel. She's like, I know how you feel. You're going to basically say the same shit to me that you always saying over and over and over again. I'm so sorry. I love you. I'll never do this again. What else is going to be a part of this speech? She's like, well, just let me talk to you. I'm like, okay, so basically you want to come over here and figure out a better way to butter me up. No. So Andy ends up getting off the phone with him and telling him, basically rejecting all of his advances. And then she starts peeling all these rubber bands off of the rubber band ball that Fatima gave her, that says basically peel the rubber bands off every time they do some fuck shit that make you just be like, I need to go ahead and leave this fool alone. And when it becomes empty, then you leave them alone. So she's pulling and pulling and pulling. Then she end up throwing the rubber band because she's pissed, because she knows she gonna end up getting to the core by the end of the day. So moving right along, Hayden is on his crutches, child, wobbling his ass through the parking lot, and Fatima is following him, laughing. So he's like, it's not funny, Fatima. It's not funny. Like, what, you think this is so funny? You wrong. You know you dead wrong. She was like, no, you're fucking wrong. She was like, and the next time, it's gonna be worse. And he's like, worse than this? She's like, you lived, didn't you? And I'm like, Lord, Fatima, you better leave this man alone. And she's like, what is your problem? Like, why you keep messing with me? And he's like, what do you see in him? Like, why him? And she's like, it doesn't matter. She was like, you need some pussy? Here's $20. Let me send you down to Magic City or somewhere so you can get some ass, because you ain't getting it from me, clearly. And he's like, I just don't understand why him or whatever. And she's like, let me tell you something. I forgive you for putting your hands on me. He was like, I didn't put my hands on you. She was like, yeah, you fucked with me. You fucked with me first when you was fucking with my man. Leave us alone. Or the next time, it might not. She was like, this gonna look like a spa treatment. And he's like, you know what? You're crazy. Something's wrong with you. And he's like, you can't keep on doing stuff like this. This is not right. I'm like, Hayden, just mind your business, sir. Like, hop your ass in your car and move on. She doesn't want you. Like, the mindset of some men, this is just craziness. This girl doesn't want you at all. She's not giving you any inclination that she wants to be with you. And you over here trying to destroy somebody's whole life over a woman that don't want you. Moving right along. In the next scene, Calvin gets home and he sees Q sitting on the couch. Child. Woo! Why is he sitting on the couch? Why is he sitting on the damn couch? First of all, y'all got to remember, Maurice told Q where the keys were. His spare key for like when his best friend comes over to get in the house or whatever. And Q has used this key before. So obviously Maurice ain't moved the damn key out of the space that it's supposed to be in for his extra key. So, or Q just a criminal that he always been. And he's sitting in the daggone living room. I'm like, this nigga is crazy. So he's telling Calvin as Calvin is walking in, yeah, Maurice knows I'm here. You know, I'm just, waiting on him to get home or whatever. He actually let me in. Like, he's super cool about it. Like, he's so dope with me being here. Like, it's so amazing. It's gonna be so good. I'm gonna be your other roommate. And Calvin was like, I know you fucking lying. Where's Maurice? Because this right here is not about to be what's going down in this town. Okay, I'm gonna move out because if you're gonna be living here and you be stealing, oh no, you tried it. So then Calvin calls Maurice, and Maurice, he's like, yeah, Maurice, Q was in here. He said that you authorized this foolishness. And Maurice is like, I didn't tell him. How the hell did he get in my house? He's like, oh my God. He's like, I'm getting off work now. He's like, Q, get out of here. Get out of there. And Q is like, I told you I had to be here because this is the address that's on my form for me when I get out of jail. He's like, I don't have anything to do with that. Get the fuck out of my house. First of all, Maurice, you really don't want him to get out. Because you sat up there and told Sabrina earlier that Q is a good person and he just really needs somebody to help him. You're going to lose your job over some dick. But he says, move right along. Maurice says he's going to come home and he going to handle it, child. So Andy goes to Karen's shop, pulls up in her Rolls Royce in all its glory, honey. And she goes up in there. She's talking to Pam because Karen is not there yet. So Karen is like, ooh, Rose. I mean, what's her name? Pam. Ooh, it's like, ooh, Rolls Royce. How you get that? She's like, oh, maybe I need to be a lawyer. And Andy's like, yeah, maybe you should. You can be a lawyer if you wanted to. And she's like, oh, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. So Karen pulls up and she looking at the Rolls Royce like, really? Is this bitch really driving this car after I told her not to drive the car? So she comes in, Karen comes in, sits down, and she tells Pam, she's like, Pam, can you go get the supplies out of my car? I went and picked them up. I need you to get them out of my car. She's like, Pam's like, you trying to get rid of me? She's like, yep, basically. So they're talking, and Andy is like, so I'm going to give up the penthouse and Fatima's going to help me get rid of the car because I just know that if I keep it, he's just going to, act like he owns it. Like basically she's looking for validation from Karen on whether or not she should keep this stuff. So Karen is consistently telling her, get rid of all this shit. Like he's going to try to keep control over you. But I don't understand how Karen can give all this advice. You want to give Andy all this advice about all these things that she should do with Gary, but yet and still you want to try to force Zach to be with you. And you thought he was so toxic at first, and you ran off with Aaron and try to throw Aaron in his face. But now you want to try to get him back from Fatima. Like, I don't understand any of this bullshit that's going on with Karen. It's very crazy and all over the place. And it ain't because she pregnant. So she's just like, Andy is like, yeah, and I'm going out with Danny tonight because I just want to get a different perspective, you know. No, you want to go out with Danny because you want Danny to be a yes person and tell you, girl, you better go ahead and take that penthouse. Girl, you better keep that Rolls Royce. And she probably gonna shock the shit out your ass if she tells you you need to leave him alone. Because number one, didn't this man just squeeze you until you almost broke a rib? He bruised your rib squeezing you. Uh-huh. And this is the man that you want to be. Everybody can come up in the penthouse, by the way, because all you got to do is get on the elevator and push P. That's what she said. Okay. But anyway, she ends up leaving Karen's shop because, of course, Karen doesn't tell her what she wants to hear. She tells her what she needs to really do. She's like, I'm going to go. She's like, oh, and I'm going to have dinner with him. I'm going to talk. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to talk to him. And I'm like, girl, why are you talking to Gary? Why are we trying to make this Gary thing happen? Like, this is just, whew, oh my God. Roster27 says, I need to know how far along she is because her belly is flat as a pancake. Child. A pancake with no sausages on the side. Child. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Roster27, for commenting. Absolutely. Like, where's the belly? Where are the cravings? Where is the something? Like, I don't understand Karen being pregnant. And if she don't take that orange shirt off, I done seen that damn orange shirt every episode. I'm gonna need her to change her damn clothes because you had to have gone home at some point, sis. Like, change your clothes. Change your clothes, Karen. But moving right along, she leaves. Andy ends up leaving, and as she's leaving, that damn Pam is in her car talking about, take me for a joyride. Let's go on a joyride. I'm like, Pam, go home. Get the supplies, Pam, and get on up out of here. Roster27 laughing at my crazy behind. Thank you again for commenting. So the episode ends with the police officer getting Zach out of the holding cell and brings him in because he has a lawyer. And I didn't really like the way the episode ended. I thought it was just really silly. So Zach gets in there, the lawyer and Jake from State Farm are in there. And he's like, did you call Fatima? Where's Fatima? And he's like, you probably don't want me to do that. Go ahead. He's telling them, this is Jake. He's like, so Jake is telling the lawyer, so tell him what's going on. Yeah, tell Zach what's going on. And so the lawyer throws a stack of papers over to Zach. And Zach's like, what the hell is this? Like, call Fatima like I told you to when I was getting arrested in the first damn place. So he reads the paper and he's like, oh, shit. And I'm like, what does that mean? Does Fatima have a rap sheet or something? Like, why didn't you call Fatima, Jake from State Farm? I don't know. But anyway, y'all, that's all I got. I ain't got no more. Please, please, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with anybody else that watches this show right along with you so we can all have a good kiki together. All right. And I will see you in the next video. Peace out.